Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about why you should never get too comfortable with 1 gig app. Why does it feel that the second you get comfortable with a gig app or some sort of system within a gig app, the system itself changes the rules? You spend months learning that system, when's the best time to drive, where to position yourself, how to make it all work, how to integrate scheduled deliveries into your on-demand deliveries, how do you use the scheduled deliveries to act as a foundational income source, and then whatever on-demand pops up ends up adding more fuel to the fire that is your income. And suddenly, everything you swear you knew doesn't matter anymore. So in this video, we are talking about why you should never get too comfortable with 1 gig app, how it actually is with some events that have taken place in the gig economy, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over is very market to market and case by case. What applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. My reality check. I may have started with DoorDash and I believed they were an essential part of the gig economy for a long time. But what I wanted to highlight in this video were some of the events that took place in the past couple of years on some of the platforms and organizations that I have worked with and are working with in the foreseeable future. DeliverThat. When I first started working with DeliverThat, things were solid. Not just because the payouts were good, but because the game itself was different. The ezCater contract made everything predictable, the routing was clear, the catering flow was steady, and they had a structure where experienced gig workers can get ahead. Then DeliverThat removed the tip pooling system for ezCater orders, or more appropriately, ezCater wouldn't allow DeliverThat to tip pool anymore and pressured them into signing a new contract with their current gratuity system. And overnight, the game was changed. It went from who can route the most orders effectively and allow for double batches, back-to-back routes, and orders of that sort to who can grab the best orders first. And then the tier systems that gave drivers a leg up disappeared entirely. Now DeliverThat barely touches ezCater at all, or at least not directly. They mainly rely on roundabout connections or direct contracts with restaurants, many of which don't even exist in current markets or pay far less than before. And you know what the worst part is? Even when you do land a solid catering run, it can vanish. And I've had so many instances where I had an order at 11 a.m. and then at 8:58 a.m., 2 hours and 2 minutes before the pickup, the order gets canceled and I get no cancellation fee, no payout, no compensation for that order, making DeliverThat orders harder to want to work with because you can be booking out a time in your day denying orders that you would have otherwise taken if it wasn't for that order being there, and then you lose it entirely. And you gotta hope to pick up something else later. Skipcart. Skipcart, on the other hand, has been on and off. When orders come in, they either pay really badly or really well. They have the most bipolar payouts. The problem is the app itself isn't really built for catering, especially when it comes to ezCater orders. They want you to start the delivery regardless of your overall distance to the pickup location 45 minutes ahead of time. You're not even allowed to check in early, leave early, and when you finally arrive, the app won't even let you mark yourself as arrived unless you press start pickup. But here's the kicker. You can't actually press that button until the restaurant actually hands you the food. So you can't really start the pickup until the pickup is actually happening. Because what they want you to do is that they want you to put in a package count and like take a photo of the order at pickup. So what is even the point of having a check-in step if it doesn't mark you as arrived? It's a fundamental design flaw, and every other platform, DoorDash, Zifty, DeliverThat, Deliver, they all have an arrived system that transitions into a pickup screen. Done. Easy. It's very simple and easy to understand. The only difference is Uber Eats, but again, that's an on-demand app and they don't ask you for a package count. And they also don't yell at you for checking in and not being on time if you are on time anyway. Skipcart, on the other hand, adds the unnecessary step that doesn't account for anything, and it creates confusion, delays. It hurts their standing on the ezCater platform because ezCater gets uppity about that. And it somehow leaves the driver responsible when the restaurant isn't ready. Like, I've had an order recently where I arrived on time to the restaurant, checked in a minute early according to their standards. And because I checked in a minute early, but I didn't start the pickup until they were ready with the order, I was considered late for that. That's not my fault. And it feels like this over-engineered mess that punishes you for doing the right thing. And then the worst part is that they actually threatened to suspend me over it for following instructions and arriving on time. And that's exactly what the app told me to do. It's not a performance issue. It's a platform design problem that they said they're working on overhauling, but I'm being punished during the process of their overhauling. Now, to be fair, I could tell that they're trying to make things better. You could see the potential in what they're doing, but they've got to get their system together first, and you gotta stop blaming drivers for what your system fucks up. Their framework's there, the payouts are solid, there's a reason that 7-Eleven bought this company. The execution is just so all over the place right now. They need to clean it up because it's going to keep creating frustration for drivers who are just doing the right thing. The RMDA. Then there's the RMDA, or the Restaurant Marketing Delivery Association. It's been interesting to watch how the landscape of that network has shifted, especially over the past year. What started as a group of independent delivery companies working together to strengthen local markets has become a proving ground for what might be next in the industry. Some members have been growing and adapting quickly, while others have struggled to keep up with the changes that are happening across platforms, and some just get booted out entirely for doing shady things because the RMDA stands on business. It's a reminder that even with structured organizations and partnerships, nothing in this space stays static forever, and the RMDA has the potential to reshape how independent delivery networks compete with major apps, but that only works if each company evolves with the same urgency that the gig economy demands. Every app eventually changes. That's just reality. If there's one thing that I've learned since 2018, it's that no gig app stays the same forever. Policies shift, contracts expire, new tech rolls out, leadership changes. Everything is fluid. What worked last month can completely fall apart the next. The biggest mistake a driver can make is believing that one app will keep them secure forever. Because no matter how loyal you are to a platform, that platform's loyalty will always lie with its market and not its drivers. So what can you do as a driver? You adapt before the app forces you to. That means diversifying into other gig platforms. That means staying active in driver communities and paying attention to the early warning signs. If one app starts slowing down, or if one app makes a huge shift depending on the season, you better have some others lined up. And just as importantly, keep your independence. Don't let one platform dictate your schedule, your mindset, or your financial stability. But beyond even that, you need an exit strategy. The gig economy should be treated as an income bridge to what would be a long-term goal, not the goal. Having multiple ways to earn is great, but it assumes that your income is dependent on your activity or your ability to keep working. Real growth comes from building income streams that don't rely on constant activity. Something sustainable that earns even when you're not on the road. The key to surviving in gig work today is simple. Don't let apps decide when your career changes. You decide that for yourself. I've been at this since 2018. Platforms rise, platforms fall, platforms get bought out by other platforms. Platforms get bought out by other companies and their policies change entirely. The drivers who last aren't the ones who found the one good app and wrote it out. They're the ones who've learned how to pivot. They're the ones who have built their own clientele and have built their own businesses. Because if there's one constant in the gig economy, is that change has been, and always will be coming. And your ability to adapt turns uncertainty into opportunity. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Check out my website, drivenwyld.com, if you would like to learn some more about the services and gig platforms we have talked about in the past and are offering today. And if you want to stay on the cutting edge of what's happening in the gig economy today and be in the know of what most people are talking about, make sure to check out our new channel, the Gone Wild Live Clips and Podcasts, where we take the live streams we hold on Thursdays at 9 p.m., cut them down to more digestible clips, and have them posted there. Also, check out my Patreon for more exclusive clips, full-length live stream replays, and other membership perks for self-employed individuals who want to grow and scale their business. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.
Rise up, shake off that 9-to-5 rust. In this wild world of hustle we trust. Break them all, leave them all in dust. Driven was the only wave of must.